What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down some information that's coming up for the markets for tomorrow and talk about why the market's looking very bullish so far. Let me just mention that I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice, And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. Looking at NIO, we got a very, very nice move to the upside. The daily is above its 20 EMA, and we're getting a bullish cross in the PPO after we got some bullish news for NIO. UBS is increasing its stake in the company. That's a good piece of news. So I was calling out the 4 hour. I said as long as we hold above this resistance, which was at 3.92, if we broke this and held above it, NIO would start pushing towards this 4.1 area, which is where NIO went to today. And I think that as long as we hold above 4 at this point, we're going to likely continue to push higher all the way up to the next target towards 4.2. So I think the chart is looking quite promising. There's more upside potential as long as we don't lose $4. So overall, NIO has more upside potential in my opinion. So does the market. I'm going to break down some levels in just a minute. Let's talk about a couple of things. I want to remind you all that for tomorrow, it's going to be Tuesday. We have a couple of Fed speakers like Bostic and Bart giving speeches, and that's pretty much it for data. And then for other factors, we also have, I just want to note that there's a 77% chance, according to the markets, we get a 25 basis point cut, and 23% chance we get a 50 basis point cut. So I just wanted to call that out. Fear is making up the majority of sentiment, but this is shifting towards neutral. And I think we're going to get more greedy as time goes on. Right now, greed is making up momentum. And we're also starting to see the puts and call option positioning dropping. So this is showing us the 5-day average. Puts are decreasing in terms of the ratios. And we're starting to see a lot of call buying. So lots of buyers are stepping in, especially as the VIX is looking pretty weak. So the market's still continuing to push. There's no sign that we're done yet. As far as NIO goes, there's still a lot of recognition it's getting for its 18th power swap station in Norway. Great piece of news for them. There's also this bullish piece of news as UBS has increased its stake in NIO by 40%. That's a new record, so awesome news. That's a Swiss bank UBS. They have the latest 13F filing, which is showing that they increased their stake by about 39.6%, purchasing 1.6 million NIO shares. So that's once again a good piece of news. They wouldn't necessarily buy the company if they thought that this was not worth anything. So you can see they have a total of about 5.72 million of these NIO shares now. That is great news. And that's once again a very, very great piece of growth for them. That's good news for NIO. 23.2 million in volume. Even though it's getting low volume, it's still pushing. So that's a sign a lot of buyers are stepping in. And short volume is decreasing, whereas Bank of America Securities is giving us a neutral rating. There's not really much shifting here. The price-price ratio remains low. So what do I see for NIO? Honestly, guys, I think we look bullish. There's a good chance we're going to continue to push towards this 4.2 area so long as we hold above our support. If we lose 3.92, look for a little bit of a dip, but I think I favor the upside. For other tickers out there, we're going to be going over all of these. SPY is looking very bullish. We managed to break past 556, which is awesome for SPY. The next target to watch for is that 560 resistance, which is where SPY is getting closer to. So awesome to see SPY pushing towards that. And if we break 560, this is going to be the next target, 562. We actually have this big gap to fill, which should take us very close to all-time highs. So SPY is going to be approaching all-time highs, and the gap fill around just under 563, actually 562.8, I think is where the gap is. So we're going to be pushing all the way up there as long as we break above 560, and so far the chart looks bullish on the daily. So it suggests we're going to be going for that gap fill. On top of this, ES has broken 56.25, so our next target is to be all the way up here around 56.50. We still look quite bullish in my personal opinion. So in my opinion, we look bullish. There's a good chance we're going to continue to push. I think we're going to likely continue this nice little pump in my opinion. So we look pretty good. And if that breaks, we'll push even higher. So we look pretty nice here. For SPX, we're looking bullish as well. We have this 5,600 resistance. If this breaks, we'll be filling the gap all the way up towards 5,640. And if we reject here, we'll be dipping back down towards 5,575. But just know there's a nice gap to fill up here, and I think there's a good chance we're going to be pushing higher on SPX. We look very bullish on the daily. There's no sign of weakness quite yet. Nvidia is doing a great job. We're all the way up to about this 130 area. I mentioned to everyone if we broke past 126, look for 130. We've done so. Now, this is going to be a tough resistance. I think Nvidia might shuffle in the 130s for some time. We could go all the way up to 132, but it's going to shuffle a bit in that 130 to 132 area, and we might break that later on to eventually go up to 135. That would be our next target, but we still look bullish. It still looks very bullish nonetheless. Tesla's looking very bullish right now. I see this thing easily going up to 225 and 230. Looking for a nice push for these imbalances to fill. I think the 230s are coming if that breaks. We also have this gap to fill. So we look very bullish on Tesla. It's bouncing right now, and I think we're easily going up to 230. For now, watch 225 as resistance, and we look very nice. For the QQQ, we not only filled the gap, but we're continuing to look bullish on the daily. I think we're going to be looking at 480, 484 as the next potential target if we hold above 480. So we're doing a great job so far. If we lose 480, look at 478. But overall, it favors upside. Looks like it wants to go up to 482. We look and 482 and 484, excuse me. We still look bullish. For Aapl, make sure you watch this 226 area. It's going to be a tough resistance. You can see how Apple's kind of fighting right here. If we break this, we're going all the way up to 227.5, and eventually the notorious 230 is coming. If we end up losing 225, we're looking for a dip back down to 223, but this chart is favoring the upside. For Super Micro, we look more bullish. Look at 637 is our resistance. If we break this, we're going all the way up towards the gap fill in the 670s. I favor upside for Super Micro, and I think we're gonna be retesting 640. If that breaks, we'll push higher. The chart's looking decent right now, so we'll give it some time. Rivian looks decent. I was worried about downside. It's still just kind of shuffling here, but there's a chance it might actually rebound after all and try to make its way up to 14. I also want to call out the IWM. The Russell's looking pretty good going for this gap fill. I think we're easily going to 216 plus and eventually the 220s. We look very bullish on the Russell, in my opinion. Coinbase looks more bullish, looking for 208 as potential targets. We could be testing that, maybe trying to break it. We got to get back above 208 to turn bullish. I think we might push for that. Amazon's going to go up for its 200 or 50 EMA. I think we're easily going up to 180. If that breaks, we'll fill the gap all the way for 184. If we lose 175, look for a dip, but this is favoring upside. Meta is favoring upside as well. We came down a bit to about 525. As long as we hold 525, I could be looking for 534 to be retested. But if we were to lose 525, I'd be looking for a dip back down towards 520. I think the chart could bounce, so watch and see if that ends up being the case. For Microsoft, we're trying to rebound here. Look at 425 as our resistance, and we'll see if this tries to break. So watch that very, very carefully. We also have this key support at 416, so I favor 425. As far as Google goes, we're looking at 168 as resistance. If this breaks, we could technically try to fill the gap, but I think that if at the end of the day we're favoring 170, so we look pretty bullish. So that being said, guys, okay, NIO in the market's looking bullish. I think that as long as NIO holds above 4, we're going to be looking for 4.2 very soon at the very least. And we're looking pretty good in my personal opinion from a technical standpoint. With that being said, with NIO looking this way on the daily, we're going to go to the 4-hour just real quick before I conclude the video. The 4 hours looking pretty good. I want to see us hold above 4 at the very least. I would say 3.92 and then 4 at the very least are going to be our two supports. But so far, it looks like there's a nice accumulation here. It looks like it wants to be going up to these highs. So I think 4.2 is likely coming. I like the structure that's forming here. And there's going to likely be an attempt to go higher, in my personal opinion, especially after the bullish news about UBS. All right. So have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow for another update. As of right now, the market looks more bullish. There's not much data coming out until like Wednesday. So we'll see how things go. And I'll most definitely see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for listening. NIO to the moon. The long term is still very bright despite how low the share price is right now. It's just another buying opportunity for the long term. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you and peace out.